Welcome, everyone. This is Alan Christian with Flickering Myth Gaming. It is a Nintendo Direct Day. We are mere hours away from Nintendo's big early year announcement, their first big announcements of 2022, and anticipation is high. It's probably too high, as it always is for Nintendo Directs. So, I actually wanted to take a look at some of the predictions that I've been seeing, weigh in on them, and give some of my own. First off, there's the little things. The little things that get brought up every single time a Nintendo Direct comes up. There's going to be a new Donkey Kong game. There's going to be a new F-Zero game. I will say there have been plenty of rumors going around for the past couple of years about a new Donkey Kong game, whether that be 2D or 3D platformer. That's possible. I'd say that's an outside possibility. Wouldn't be shocked if that happens. F-Zero? I see an F-Zero thing every time. For the past however long they've been doing Directs, somebody is always like, it's going to be a new F-Zero game. It's never going to be a new F-Zero game. It's not. I'd love to be wrong. I love F-Zero, but F-Zero is historically kind of a tech demo, and I don't think there's really any tech to demo here. But again, I'd love to be wrong. F-Zero is a great series, and I'd love to see it come back. Batman Arkham games. Batman Arkham games, a collection coming to the Switch. That's kind of already been leaked through some retailers, so I'd say there's a fair chance of you seeing that here. Because that leaked like hours before they announced that the Nintendo Direct was today. So, yeah, I'd say there's a fair chance of that. What's going to be in that collection? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have Arkham Knight in there, or if they're just going to do the first two. I'd be okay with the first two. And Origins. Origins was kind of a messy game, but it wasn't a bad game, so throw that in there. I know they'd have to do some work to get Arkham Knight to fit on there, but we've seen more ambitious games get ported down to the Switch, so that's entirely possible. And I would really love to play Arkham City again. I like Arkham Asylum. I love Arkham City. Arkham City is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't think that's controversial at all. I think that's a pretty well-shared opinion. Arkham Knight, it has its ups and downs. It has its ups and downs. Not a bad game, but not one of my favorites. Some other definites, we'll definitely be seeing more on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That comes out next month, so that's going to be right up there. Probably a full big gameplay display of all that. Should be fun. And I can almost guarantee that we're going to get a bigger reveal for Splatoon 3 with a summer release date announcement. Other things kicking around the rumor mill that I think are extremely likely, you will most likely see a new Fire Emblem game. I don't think that's a stretch at all. Whether that'll be another remake or a brand new game or even a Warriors game, which I don't think it's going to be a Warriors game, but I think you're bound to see something from the Fire Emblem camp. It's just been 2-3 years since the last one, so they usually don't like to let that franchise lie fallow for that long. So I think we'll be seeing something from that. Another prediction I've seen is a new Xenoblade game or something else from Monolith Soft, and I think that's vague enough to be entirely fair. It could be a port or remake of Xenoblade Chronicles X, moving that out of the Wii U. One of the few Wii U games still left stranded there. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. Also wouldn't be surprised to just see Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And for a prediction of mine that I haven't seen anywhere, I usually see this one, so I'm sure somebody's saying it, but I do predict this time that there will be a new Star Fox game. And I say that entirely because the world is cruel and unfair, and I have been getting away with no Star Fox games being thrown in my face for entirely too long. And I think it's about time to bring me down off that cloud and release yet another terrible, boring game in one of the worst series ever made. Another thing I've seen buzz about is a potential successor to 1-2 Switch, and while I don't think that that's out of the cards as far as something that's actually happening, I don't see it as something that they're going to spend time in a direct on. Even if this is 40 minutes long, I think they have things that they'd rather spend their time on in a direct, and then they'll just, if they have one of these in the works, they'll drop it on their Nintendo channel, tweet it out. That seems to be more their MO for this kind of thing. Something else I'm going to throw out there that is based on absolutely nothing. I think we're getting a new Wario Land game. Yeah, because I want it. And I want to hope. I don't actually believe this is going to happen precisely because I want it. But we just had a new WarioWare game. And I think Big Greasy's back in the spotlight. So let's get another Wario Land. We haven't had one of those since Shake It on the Wii? Is that the last one? I think that was the last one. That was a great game. The Wario Land games are all great. The only Wario game that's bad is that one where he puts on outfits. Master of Disguise. I can't remember if that's Wario Land Master of Disguise or just Wario Master of Disguise. It's on the DS. It's truly terrible. Don't play that one. But every other Wario Land game is great. And we're due for one. So, please, give it to me. Also, 100% certain that we're going to see some Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That's the sequel to Kingdom Battle from 2017. It's already been announced. It was announced at E3. I think Ubisoft's making it, so I think they're the ones that announced it. So that's happening. I'm sure we're going to see more from that because that's due out soon, right? I think Q2. Or did they just say 2022? I'm not sure, but I think we're going to see more on that. Third-party things, I'm a little less in the loop on. I have a little less opinion on how those things cycle in and out. But I do think we'll see more for Triangle Strategy from Square. It's kind of the follow-up to Octopath Traveler. I do think we'll see more on that. Rumblings of some Persona stuff coming to the Switch, and I think that's possible, especially after I think Shin Megami Tensei 5 was fairly successful, so I think that that Atlas would like to bring some Persona over to the Switch. I've seen people predict Persona 4 Golden. I've seen Gerald predict that, and I hope he's right. Maybe I'll actually play one of these games at that point. Not really my thing. Not because I don't like them, but because I don't ever have time for RPGs. Like, I look at RPGs longingly, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had the time to commit to you. I used to love playing RPGs when I was younger, and now there's just no time. Hollow Knight Silksong, possible. It's possible. I think that that's a well overdue thing, and I think this would be a great time for it. And the biggest prediction possible, I think we'll see one big time third-party game that's years too late, but will finally make it to the Switch. That's not me being coy. I don't know what it'd be. You know, people talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 maybe coming over. It's possible. It's certainly doable. It's a 360 era game. Like, why not? Especially when you just put the definitive edition on here. But that's not necessarily what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of something that's like the last impossible port that the Switch is going to get. That's not a cloud game. It's just an actual, like, very impressive port coming from one of the studios that are good at it, like a Saber Interactive or a Panic Button. It'll be very impressive and just too damn late to the party. A couple small, very easy things that I think are going to happen. I do think you'll see something Mario. You know, like, obviously. What that's going to be, I don't know. Whether it be a new 2D Mario game or a sports game or some kind of spin-off title like that. I definitely think you're going to see a big Mario announcement because we don't really have a big Mario game on the horizon of any kind. And Nintendo doesn't really like to leave it that way, especially for this long. I think we got Mario Party Superstars. Was that the name of the last one? Yeah, we got that back at the end of last year. So I think we're definitely going to get something Mario related on the docket. That's a very easy guess. I would like to see like an Odyssey follow-up. I don't think you're going to get that reveal here, but I think you're more going to be along the lines of like a new Super Mario Brothers, which, God, I don't want. I don't like those games. They're fine. Some of them are okay. They're not awful, but it's not my jam. And then, of course, you're going to see some of this Advance Wars 1 and 2. Was it terrible subtitle on that? I don't know. See, I should have pulled a list up in front of me, but I didn't. But yeah, you're definitely going to see more Advance Wars stuff on this. That's just a given. It's coming out soon. Now for the big ones. Obviously, the games that are on everybody's mind right now as Nintendo's big ones going into the late 2022 or even early 2023. People are expecting, I wouldn't say most people are expecting, I think people have been pretty reasonable about what to expect out of a Metroid Prime 4. I think it's possible we see some Metroid Prime 4. I think this is truly the most possible it's ever been. Metroid Prime 4 was announced at E3 2017. We know that it was development on it started over and was handed over to Retro Studios in early 2019. So it's been 3 years in development. I don't care if they're still hiring people at Retro. That's very normal for a bigger developer. I think it's very possible that we see some Metroid Prime 4 here at this one. And that's if they want to give us something big. There's always this thing where people are like, what's the big thing going to be? What's going to be huge? What are they going to end on? And sometimes they end on nothing. Like, I don't know why we haven't learned that yet, but sometimes Nintendo is just like, that's it, bye. And we're just like, well, it's underwhelming. That's every other Direct. Maybe 2 out of 3 Directs are kind of end on something underwhelming. And I wouldn't be shocked if that's what we experience now. We get some smaller announcements, and that's it. We get showed things that we already knew were coming, like Splatoon and Kirby and Sparks of Hope, and we're out. But I think seeing something from Metroid Prime 4 is possible. Now, I think that's only possible if we're not going to see anything from Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Just because. I just don't think you're going to get 2 big things like that. And honestly, I'm playing more on the side of we're not going to see anything from Breath of the Wild 2. I think on the Zelda front, it is entirely possible that we see the Wii U ports of the GameCube games, Twilight Princess, and I guess most people think of Twilight Princess as a Wii game, but I played it on the GameCube, so... But that and Wind Waker, we got those ports on the Wii U, and those are some of the last couple things still straggling on the Wii U, a lot like Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I think if they're going to do that, I think the thing that you're most likely to see is an announcement for that now for a summer release. And then this summer, they're E3, even if E3 does or doesn't happen, they're going to have a summer direct, and I think that will be centered around the new Zelda game. And that's the path that I see them taking. I would love to be wrong, and I would love for them to go ahead and start the hype cycle for Breath of the Wild 2 now, give us a title, give us a big reveal trailer, and that would mean that they would probably be making the 2022 release date, as they've said. But I'm used to shifting release dates for Zelda games. I can't remember the last time one didn't get shifted. That might have been Skyward Sword, but even that I think got pushed back like a year. So I think that's possible. I've been hearing Metroid Prime remake has happened. I don't believe in that. I don't know. I mean, this rumor got started a year or so ago, and I honestly just don't believe that there's a Metroid Prime remake floating around, because we've heard that it exists, but we haven't heard that anybody is actually attached to do it. It's just I think it's a pipe dream, and I think you probably might see some like HD upscales for the Prime Trilogy and get that released. I think the Prime Trilogy is going to be the thing that we see, and I assume it'd be in an HD version. And I think that they are waiting to drop that on the hype cycle for Metroid Prime 4. So if I had to call it, and everybody likes it when you just call it on one of these things instead of being wishy-washy, like I tend to be, because I don't know. Most people don't know. Even people that claim to have insider access make their predictions, and then they're wrong about 50% of the time. But if I had to stand on a hill to die on, I just wouldn't. But my prediction for the big reveals here, I say we do get a reveal of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, and we from AGI Numa. He reveals those, and then he states to join him this summer as he reveals the sequel to Breath of the Wild 2. I think they'll start a hype cycle for the big reveal. I don't think we're going to get the big reveal out of nowhere. I think that they will want the eyes on it at the time. They'll want everybody to tune in for the big Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel reveal. And then our big things will be a short release window for the Metroid Prime trilogy and a Metroid Prime 4 reveal. That's me going out on a limb. That's me putting it out there. That's what I want to see. We're all probably going to be disappointed. So if you would like to be disappointed with us, we'll be live reacting on this channel tonight. So come by around, when it starts, wherever you are. Come by in a few hours and drop in on us, chat with us, and we will take this all in together, and we will see how wrong or right any of us were.